Welcome back to the flame. This is not for the weak-hearted. This is for the ones who rose in silence, for the ones who didn't get justice, but built it anyway, for the ones who are underestimated, thrown aside, mocked, laughed at, ignored, used, and then expected to stay silent. This is for you, and this is a warning to them, because they lost you. They didn't just lose someone. They lost a soul that would have walked through fire for them. They lost a heart that would have taken the damage so they didn't have to. And now they're learning that you don't find that twice. You don't lose someone like that and get to walk away clean. No, they lost you because they were stupid, blind, arrogant. And now that realization is starting to eat them alive. Let them burn. They lost you because they thought they could replace you. They thought loyalty was cheap, that love was weak, that someone like you would always be there, that no matter what they said or did, you'd just swallow your pain and show up again and again. But they were wrong, so very wrong. And now every night it haunts them because you were the one they laughed at. When you were quiet, they mocked you when you were kind. They dismissed you when you were loyal. But now their nights are long, their thoughts are loud, their souls are restless, because what they gave up is never coming back. And it's killing them. Let them suffer. You see, people always think they can treat you however they want, until you leave, and then suddenly you were everything. Suddenly you were the reason their world made sense. Suddenly they realized they needed you more than you ever needed them. And now that you're gone, they're waking up to that bitter truth, the reality that hits harder than karma ever could. They fumbled a blessing, and now they're watching others treat you better than they ever did. And it hurts. It eats. It scorches every piece of their ego. And it should. Let it hurt. Because they made that choice. Remember that they had you. And they made that choice. They looked at the realest soul they could have ever had and thought they could do better. They took your heart, your time, your loyalty, your tears, your presence for granted. And now that same absence is screaming in their life, louder than your presence ever did, because silence is the loudest revenge. And your silence is echoing in every corner of their mind. And every time they try to distract themselves from it, it comes back stronger, louder, colder. They lost you. And that loss is permanent. Let it scar. There's a unique kind of burn that only comes when you lose something. You know you'll never get back. When you realize you can't undo your own stupidity. When you understand that no apology will ever fix what you broke. And they're living that burn right now, every single day. And the worst part is, you didn't even have to do anything. You didn't fight them. You didn't yell. You didn't beg. You just walked away, and that's what's killing them. Because they expected drama, expected you to crumble, but you gave them silence and peace. And that silence is their punishment. Let it stay. They lost you not because you were weak, but because they were too weak to appreciate strength, too scared to be loved properly, too immature to recognize your value, too selfish to treat you right. And now their life is full of cheap replacements, people who smile fake and leave fast, people who don't have a quarter of your soul or fire, and they know it. They smile on the outside, but they feel the void inside, and that void is shaped exactly like you. It doesn't matter who they try to fill it with, it won't work, because the truth is, when you've had real, you can't fake it anymore. Let them chase ghosts. They'll replay everything. Every moment, every look, every word you gave, every time you forgave when you shouldn't have, every time you showed up when you were broken, every time you chose them, even when they didn't deserve to be chosen. And now, they'd give anything to go back, to have one more chance, one more moment. But it's too late. The bridge is gone. The version of you they knew is dead and gone. And in its place stands someone stronger, colder, wiser, someone who doesn't tolerate less, someone who doesn't beg for bare minimums, someone who knows their worth and demands it. Let them see who you've become, because it's not revenge, if it's growth, and it's not payback, if it's peace. They thought they broke you, they thought you'd never rise, but now you're glowing in silence, building a world they can't access, becoming the person they only pretended to be, and it's driving them insane. They check your life from a distance, hoping to see you fail, hoping to see cracks, but all they see is someone thriving, glowing, succeeding, healing, and that hurts them more than any revenge ever could, because nothing destroys a narcissist more than your happiness without them. Let your glow be the fire that burns them, and here's the truth. They will never admit they miss you. Every second of every day, they miss the way you listened, the way you cared, the way you remembered the small things, the way you stood by them when nobody else did. They miss the way you smiled, even when you were hurting, the way you gave love that felt like home. They miss it all, but they'll never tell you. They'll just suffer in silence, watching you become everything they never deserved. And it's beautiful, it's powerful, it's justice. Let them bleed with regret. You owe no apology, no explanation, no closure. They made their bed, and now they get to lie in it alone. You gave them grace, patience, love, and more chances than they ever deserved, and they threw it away. Now they're left with empty conversations and cold hearts, and the ghost of you, and that ghost follows them everywhere. They see you in dreams, hear you in songs, feel you in crowds, but they can't reach you, and that drives them mad. They want you to come back, not because they changed, but because they missed the version of you that tolerated their shit. Let that version rest in peace. You're not bitter, you're not angry, you're just done, you're not cold. You're just focused now, you're not heartless. You're healed, and that's what they don't understand. Healing looks like indifference. Healing looks like blocking, deleting, forgetting. Healing looks like laughing again, sleeping again, breathing without pain again. And they hate that their power over you is gone, that their name doesn't shake your soul anymore. They hate that you moved on without looking back. Let them rot in what they created, because this isn't about getting even. It's about elevation. It's about becoming so untouchable that the people who tried to break you now bow to your glow. It's about turning pain into power, betrayal into brilliance, and silence into strength. It's about being the proof that walking away was the best decision you ever made. And to anyone listening to this, if you've been hurt, betrayed, abandoned by someone who didn't value you, let this be your reminder that their loss is their curse, not your burden. Your absence is your revenge, your peace is your power, and your growth is their grief. They will regret it, they will remember it, and it will burn them for the rest of their lives. Let it, because they really lost you, because of their stupidity, and it burns them to their core, and it should, forever. And now, they sit with that fire in their chest. Every single time your name gets mentioned, it's a knife. Every single time someone speaks your name with admiration, it's a dagger. Every success of yours, every smile, every new connection, every ounce of peace you carry, now is a reminder of what they destroyed with their own hands. They didn't just lose a person, they lost a lifetime of possibilities. They lost a heart that would have fought hell for them, and now they're left fighting their own demons with no shield, no comfort, and no one left to blame but themselves. Let the silence speak louder than any scream ever could. They thought you needed them. They thought they were the prize. They thought you wouldn't survive without them. And now they see you thriving without their validation. And it shatters their illusion, because people like them, they live for control. They live to be needed. But you took that power back, and that's the one thing they can't stand. Your independence, your rise, your ability to stand without crutches, while they now limp through their guilt with no one left to lean on. It's poetic justice in its rawest form. They tried to dim your light, and now they're blinded by the blaze. You became. Let the burn deepen. Every time they laugh now it's hollow. Every smile is forced. Every connection feels fake. Because deep down, they know they'll never have something real again. Not like they had with you. You were the truth in a world full of masks, and they were too foolish to recognize it now. All they're left with are imitations, shadows, people who speak sweet but don't stay long, people who flatter but don't show up, people who look good on the outside but are empty on the inside, and none of them fill the space you left, because you weren't just a person, you were a force, and they lost it. Let them compare forever. They watch you now from a distance, from 1,000 fake accounts, from the corners of quiet rooms, pretending they don't care while secretly checking your every move, hoping you're still hurt, hoping they still matter. But what kills them is you don't even flinch anymore. Your peace is too expensive. Now, your time is too sacred. Your heart has leveled up, and their name no longer echoes in your bones, and that's what's slowly destroying them. The fact that they became irrelevant in the story where they thought they were the main character. Let them fade out of the script. It's not just that you left, it's the way you left, with grace. No drama, no chaos, just calm, just a final goodbye. That said more than 1,000 arguments ever could, because when someone leaves quietly, it's not because they don't care. It's because they finally realize they deserve better. And that realization hits like a storm to the ones who thought they had you trapped, but they didn't trap you, they delayed you. And once you saw through the illusion, you walked away for good. And now they live in the mess they made alone. Let them be trapped in their own game. They told themselves lies to feel better. They said you were too sensitive, too dramatic, too much. But now they miss that sensitivity. Now they crave that energy. Now they see that being too much was exactly what made you priceless. You were fire in human form, and they thought they could handle you until they lost you. Now they chase sparks from broken lighters, praying to feel that warmth again. But they never will, because you gave everything, and they gave nothing. And that's a trade that always ends in regret. Let them feel the cold. Regret is a cruel teacher, and now it's teaching them lessons they can't run from. It's teaching them that you don't get infinite chances. It's teaching them that actions have consequences, and some losses are permanent, and it's showing them your glow in places they never thought it would reach. You're leveling up in silence while their world stays stuck, in rewind replaying every mistake they made, hoping for a rewind that'll never come. Let them drown in the reruns. They see others cherishing you now. People who see what they missed. People who hear your silence and still understand it. People who don't just say they care but show it. And that contrast, that comparison, it haunts them because they know deep down they had the blueprint and still failed the test. They had access to a rare soul and still chose ego over effort, still chose games over growth. And now they pay the price every single day. Let them see what real looks like. And no matter how much time passes, the sting won't fade. No matter how many new faces they surround themselves with, the guilt doesn't lessen. Because the truth has a nasty habit of surfacing late at night, when the world is quiet and the mind is loud. And that's when they see you clearly, when they feel your absence, like a wound that won't close. They wonder how they could have been so stupid, how they let pride ruin something so real. But wondering doesn't bring you back. It never will. Let them carry the weight. This is your power now. The ability to walk away and stay away. The discipline to not respond, not react, not return. Because you finally realize that love isn't supposed to hurt every day. It's not supposed to feel like a battlefield where you're the only one bleeding. It's supposed to feel like home. And you outgrew war. You outgrew pain. You outgrew pretending to be okay. And that strength is something they never thought you'd find. But now that you have, they know they'll never touch you again. Let that distance be eternal. And the best part is, you didn't have to destroy them. You just had to stop saving them. You were their oxygen, and they didn't even know it until they couldn't breathe without you. And now, every inhale is heavy, every memory is sharp, every reminder is bitter, and there's no one to blame but themselves. They crafted this hell with their own hands, and now they sleep in it with eyes wide open, haunted by the image of you, walking away without looking back. Let them remember that walk, because when you give your soul to someone and they spit on it, that kind of betrayal marks them forever. And that mark doesn't fade with time. It deepens, and they feel it in every fake relationship, every shallow friendship, every smile that doesn't reach the eyes, because none of it compares to the truth they lost. And now you live free while they live haunted. Let that freedom echo, because you didn't lose them. They lost you. And that difference is everything they lost. The version of you that forgave too easily, that stayed too long, that loved too hard. They lost the healer, the lover, the protector, the safe space. And they'll never find that again. Not because others won't care, but because no one else will love them through their damage like you did. And now they have to face their damage alone. Let that loneliness teach them. They say time heals, but not when guilt is the wound, not when regret is the poison, not when stupidity is the cause. And that's why it still burns. That's why it keeps burning. Because this was preventable. This was their choice. This was their pride, their ignorance, their failure. And now every memory of you is a flame in their mind, and they can't turn it off, can't forget it, can't replace it. Let it consume their pride. And every time they see you smile, now, every time they see that fire in your eyes, that peace in your step, that glow in your skin, it breaks them a little more, because they realize they were the storm and you were the light, and they tried to extinguish you, only to end up lost in their own darkness. And now they crave that light again, but it's too late. It's gone. And what's left is the memory of someone they'll never deserve again. Let the fire of your evolution be their eternal regret. You owe them nothing. Not your attention, not your time, not your forgiveness, and especially not your return. They had their chance, they had countless chances, and they wasted every single one. And now you're at a lesson they'll never stop learning, a ghost they'll never stop seeing, and a loss they'll never stop feeling. And that is more powerful than any revenge could ever be. Let it end with silence. Let it end with your peace. Let it end with your glow, because they really lost you, cause of their stupidity, and it burns them to the core forever. And now they live with it forever, because no matter where they go, who they meet, what they do, or how much they pretend to have moved on, they can't escape it. They can't run from it, because the past has claws, and when you destroy something pure, it never forgets. The silence carries it. The wind whispers it, the universe delivers it back, and every mirror reflects the truth. They tried to ignore. They lost something real, and they can feel it in their soul every day, whether they admit it or not. Let the silence choke them. There's no peace in their mind anymore, only echoes of the way you used to say their name, only flashes of the moments when you still believed in them, only flashes of the love you gave without holding back. And that's what's killing them. Not just the absence, but the memory of presence, your presence, which was rare, healing, electric, unforgettable. And now that it's gone, they realize they can't unfeel it, and that realization breaks them in ways they never thought possible. Let it shatter their sleep. You were the safest place they ever knew, and now that place is gone. The door is shut and locked, not out of spite, but out of growth. And now they stand outside that door, bleeding with memories, knocking with guilt, and screaming in silence. But the truth is, no matter how loud they scream, you won't answer, because you've outgrown the version of yourself that needed their validation, needed their apology, needed them at all. Let them scream into emptiness. This is your era now, the one where you no longer shrink to be loved, no longer bend to be accepted, no longer beg to be seen. You see yourself now. You hear yourself now. You trust yourself now. And in that awareness, there's no room for people who treated your heart like an option, for people who were careless with your soul, for people who thought love meant control. They thought you were weak when you gave. They thought you were fragile when you stayed. But they didn't realize that your love wasn't weakness. It was power, and they abused it until it was gone. Let them mourn the strength they mistook for softness. You've risen, and they can't stand it. You've healed, and they can't take it. They see the glow in your skin now, the light in your eyes, the purpose in your steps, and it unsettles them because it shows them what they could have had if they'd grown with you. If they'd loved you, right? If they'd listened instead of manipulated. If they'd stayed when it mattered, but they chose to be reckless. And now, all they have left is could've, should've, would've. And none of those things bring you back. Let their regret rot in their throat, because you're not coming back. Not to fix, not to save, not to explain. You've retired from being the emotional crutch, from being the fallback plan, from being the one who gets it right while everyone else gets it wrong. Now you move in your truth, in your silence, in your peace. And the more they try to pull you back with memories, guilt, or fake love, the more they realize they can't touch you anymore. They lost access, and with that loss, they lost power. Let them feel powerless. You were the one who answered every call, who stayed up through every breakdown, who listened to every rant, who held space without asking for anything back. And now, when they're the ones crying, screaming, breaking down, there's no one left to catch them, and they feel it deeply because nobody else will love them through their storm the way you did. And that emptiness is permanent. That ache doesn't go away. That's the cost of their stupidity. Let it ache forever, and no one will tell them this. No one will say it to their face, but everyone around them knows. They messed up. Everyone sees how they had the realest one and blew it. Everyone sees the pain behind their eyes every time your name gets mentioned, even when they try to fake. Laugh, fake, smile. Fake. Forget it. Shows it, leaks it, bleeds because regret doesn't hide well. And theirs is written all over their face. In every forced laugh, in every late night scroll on your page, in every drink they take, trying to forget. Let the truth bleed from their silence, and they thought they were clever. They thought ghosting you or betraying you or playing games with your heart made them powerful. But now they see power looks like peace, and they don't have any power looks like consistency, and they're chaos. Power looks like owning your shit, and they're drowning in denial. And while they fake their strength, you're walking in your truth, and that truth is burning them alive. Let it melt, every mask they wear, because in the end, they didn't break you. They revealed you. They unlocked the strongest version of you by betraying you. They taught you your limits by leaving you. They showed you what you no longer need. And that lesson has become your weapon, your shield, your wings. And now you're soaring above the same people who tried to bury you with lies, and now they're looking up while you look forward, never back. Let them stare from the ground. They lost more than a person. They lost a future, a partner, a healer, a soulmate. And now they have to live every day knowing that the person they're watching become unstoppable was once willing to give them everything, and they threw it away like it meant nothing. They have to live with that every day, every moment, and that weight will crush them piece by piece. And that's not your revenge, that's just karma. Let the weight keep growing. And to you listening now, who's still hurting, let this be your confirmation. You are not the villain in their story. You were the gift they couldn't handle, the light. They couldn't see the loyalty. They couldn't return. And their inability to love you properly was never your fault. Stop carrying their failure like it belongs to you. It doesn't. They lost you because of who they are, not because of who you are. Let that truth set you free. You didn't lose, you leveled up. You didn't break, you evolved. You didn't become bitter, you became wiser. And now, every step you take without them is a message to the world that self-love is the ultimate glow-up, that walking away isn't weakness, it's clarity. And now you walk in a freedom they will never know, because they're still trapped in a cage of their own mistakes, while you are out in the open, breathing new air, making new moves, building new love, and becoming everything they said you couldn't be. Let your life be the reminder that they never broke you, because you are not the pain they caused you. You are the fire you became after they left. And that fire now lights the world while they sit in darkness, wishing they hadn't been so blind, wishing they hadn't been so stupid, wishing they had just loved you right. But it's too late now. Let them burn. Let them burn in silence. Let them burn in guilt. Let them burn in regret. Let them burn in the fire of their own making, because they really lost you. And it burns them to their core, and it always will, forever.